So anyways, I'm going to share the chart with you and we'll go over today, May 5th. This week has so much of this Uranus energy because of Uranus with the sun here conjunct. And so the whole week really has this electric energy, this nervous system energy. Uranus is the nervous system. It is that cerebral mental energy, but it's really about how that energy is like carried through the body. And so you may have felt a lot of anxiety up to the eclipse. You may be feeling that now. You may need to really omit caffeine and things that pump you up and take things down a notch. You might realize that the effects of stimulants of any kind are doubled or tripled. And so we have these semi-squares from Jupiter to Uranus and the sun, which is this hard aspect. And it's this challenge to expand spiritually when you're feeling like this electric nervous system energy and wanting stability and wanting to have comforts, because to spiritually expand, you're going beyond your comfort zones, although Uranus will help us to go beyond. And so if you're a willing participant, it won't be as unpredictable or as maybe sudden or shocking. And then the semi-square from Mars to Pluto is this energy of just really this forward motion, but kind of being stuck in the digging around in the karma and the shadow that's coming up for you, and the weird emotions that there's many and they're hard to name and they're nebulous. And so really going down and in, because otherwise Uranus can be rather shocking with how it presents in your life, because it's really wanting us to go down into the mud to clear it and to clean it up. And so this energy from the moon to Pluto is this disconnected vibe of wanting our emotions to be more, happier, more joyful, but really having to go through the shadowlands to get to the other side to that joy, having to look within. And of course, what we don't face when we stuff it down, it bleeds, like we are living those things. So it's the only way to actually live a dream life is to clear the shadowlands, is to go in it. It's not easy. It's not necessarily something you know how to do, that you may have the skill set for. That's what Alchemical Goddess is here for, my coaching program, where you have the sacred Sherpa on the journey that lets you know where to altitude where we need oxygen now. We need to use ropes here, on this climb of Mount Everest here. So understanding that this Uranus energy is electric and unpredictable. So with what are you not facing in your life? Because it's bringing up wanting to face our lack of individuality, our lack of using our own authority, our lack of being an authority in our lives and following family, following groups, following other people, always looking outside of ourselves for what to do and when. And so this is asking us to be in our own sovereignty, in our own power. Humanity is going through a crisis of realizing that they are not in their sovereignty and in they're in victimhood and powerlessness, and that everything in the overculture reinforces that. And so it's really about being around the people who are standing in their sovereignty, who are great examples of being powerful people in the world, simply because you're in your power. And so there is this question this week and today particularly, and I changed the day, but regardless. And there's this energy of wanting to that's asking you, like, where are you giving over your authority to other people? Where are you not standing in your own power, and you're like deciding what you do in your mind, thinking about how other people are going to react, how they're going to respond to you, if they're going to approve of you or disapprove of you, if they're going to like you better, if you're going to be more included. really think about in your mind how you run your choices of your activities, your behaviors, what you choose to do, and so forth. Because if it's based upon somebody else, the group, somebody accepting you, what somebody else will say, how you'll be seen by other people, that's not standing in your power and owning who you are, independent of all of that, independent of circumstance. And so this is what's up for today. The sun will pass over Uranus today, and that's this electricity of your soul and your vitality and your heart and like who you are. Who are you as this individual, as this Rara Avis goddess who is here to do massive, powerful change the world, work in the world, your sacred calling? And are you answering the call to your sacred call with the moon, having moved into Cancer today? There can be a lot of emotionality, a lot of emotions that we haven't felt, too in our mind with the Gemini moon, too scattered to so many different ideas and different things going on. And so this can bring up a lot of the emotions that may have not been felt, that you may have pushed down or suppressed or sublimated. We are going to pull some cards. So it's a great day. Koi fish spirit, that there's always enough. And so it's in protection. So are you believing that there's not enough? Are you believing that there's not enough abundance, that you won't have what you need? Are you in scarcity and lack? Because that is going to go into every area of your life. Scarcity and lack will affect how you show up to your clients, how you show up to your marketing, your business, how you show up in your world, to your people and groups, the events that you go to, because it's just this way that you're living inside yourself. Why, like, really question why you don't think there's enough, because that's just a spell from the culture that gets people spelled. Scarcity is a marketing tactic. And so we have to realize that the culture markets to us to buy into the culture's prescribed way of living. Are you on the tip of the matrix? Like, seriously, because people, we all have to decondition ourselves from the matrix in places where we're not seeing it. It's in our blind spot. And that's why it's called a blind spot, because we're not seeing it. Canary spirit, sing your own song. So I was just talking to you about this energy of really standing in your Rara Avis, like the who you are, the original unique self that you are, that no one else can have this unique transmission to your clients and your audience, that people are fully grown that are waiting for your work in the world while you're not putting it out there, or while you're not stepping into greater visibility and going in for that next project and that next level. So, it's like, how can you peel off more layers of the false identities, of the masks of who you thought you had to be? Buffalo spirit, the universe will provide. And so it's really being in that communion and that communication with the universe, with great spirit, about your goals and your dreams. And like, are you taking action on what your intuition has told you to do? This is a big one, that often you don't feel like you have abundance when you're not taking action on your intuition. Your intuition came in, and there's inhibitions, there's obstacles, fears, blocks, and that's what to go into and look at and to clear, because it keeps coming up. So it's just really realizing that it's truth, that the universe is abundant, and that the abundance is never ending, and the universe will provide for you. Are you asking? Are you having that communication? Are you finding stillness? Are you finding play? Are you finding joy? Are you believing in you're good? Or are you in like a fear, anxiety, scarcity? Because this Uranus energy can bring up a lot of anxiety. So if you're stimulating yourself with stimulants, caffeine, and if you're buzzing around and avoiding what's coming up inside and just being externally stimulated all around you and not really facing the inner work, it can be big breakdowns. Hummingbird spirit, it's be here now. It's about this present now moment, which is very Taurus energy. It's about the senses and the pleasure and what's so beautiful right now all around you. And I mean, where I'm sitting, there's like 3 fountains, water, the sunshine, and all of these plants, and it's a beautiful area. And there might be some loud kids, but whatever. There wasn't when I sat down. And there's just a hillside, and it's beautiful. And so it's like being in the presence of this now moment, because when we're in our mind, we're not in the moment actually. And it was in reverse. So it's saying that you're really in the future, fearing, trying to figure out, and you're really in the past and not really like healing the past. So go into the past to heal it and to face those wounds and face the shadow, but don't stay in the past fearing the future and dragging your past back into your present moment, because you live your past right now when you're in there. And like it's one thing to heal it, but it's another to be in the past stewing and wallowing and being in the victim place, that victim powerless place. Have to move out of that. This is the time, because we have all the support from the astrology, we have all the support from the planets. Like they are here supporting you to be in your highest confidence, to heal what needs healed, to look at the shadow. Chiron in Aries is helping us heal the wound. Next week is going to be a powerful week. We have Jupiter going into Aries on the day that Mercury goes retrograde, and we have so much shifting and changing. And so and Venus is in Aries, and she's moving very quickly through Aries. And so this Aries energy is helping us to understand Aries right now at the highest levels. Just came out of the sun in Aries before this Taurus season. And so it's helping us understand Aries energy, the initiation, the independence, the light the match, get things going, moving and taking action. And it's helping us understand that, because next summer the North Node will move into Aries, and it's where we don't know how to do it yet. We're unfamiliar with it. So we're getting all this help from this Aries energy this whole year to help us understand Aries, helping us take initiative, taking action, moving, being excited, being on the adventure. And in a way, the me energy of Aries, the selfishness, is a lower octave, but the me-ness can help you with the identity of developing and cultivating that self-worth. That is the Taurus North Node. That's what that's about. We have lion spirit. You can tell my Chester rabbit, who is being boarded at the moment, approves of this card because he ate it. That's how he lets me know that he approves. And it's lion spirit, be generous of heart. And so giving of your gifts, realize the difference between divine service and your business, that sometimes they overlap, but they're separate things. That divine service, that spirit calls you to do divine service all the time, to go ahead and help somebody when they don't have the money, to go ahead and plant a seed, to give a little piece of advice to somebody that's asking you and needing it. That like, look for those ways that you can be of service. If you're only in the sale, they got to make a sale. I ran into some people the other day, there's just like, I'm just trying to connect and have a conversation, and connect as like two circus artists. And she's like, oh, well, I've got a program and I can do this and do this. And I get it, but also she wasn't hearing me. She wasn't listening to what I was saying. She was just like steamrolling over it. So it's like the lower octave of the Mars energy, of the Aries energy, of just like plowing through and steamrolling over and through, and not hearing, and not, looking to what the other person is actually saying and connecting on a real level. And so with sales, like, we must connect to people. And so be generous of your time and your heart and your energy. And that's all about being fully resourced within you. There's a difference between self-care and being fully resourced. Self-care can just be, making sure the house is clean and getting the stuff done and getting the boxes ticked. But like, being fully resourced is different. You explode into this amazing, powerful place within yourself, where you're just so nourished in your soul. You have played, you have had joy, you have had stillness and quiet, you've had connection and love and pleasure and all of these things, that just the stimulation and this curiosity, and those things fill your cup and really make you just feel the beauty of life and want to go out and to share your gifts and be generous of heart. Skunk spirit, know your value, know your worth. This is Taurus North Node. The sun's here to help us out with that soul fuel, that solar fuel, that vitality of the sun. That's about who you are and your inner voice. And it's like knowing your value and worth. What does that mean? It means that like, are you doing things of value? Because if you're smoking a lot of pot, is that really valuing you, or is it like just a coping mechanism and just wasting your time? If you are not taking action in your business and moving your business forward, are you really valuing what you bring to the world? You're not really valuing yourself until you're not doing something that's valuable. Are you stepping you know, maybe you're doing great in your business, but are you stepping to the next level and to the next place of visibility, into the next project that you're putting off because of fear, just it's unfamiliar, you're doing something new. Rabbit spirit, that now is a lucky time. And so there's some disbelief that you get to have joy and luck, and that you get to have things go right, that you get to have good things happen to you. And it's understandable with what we've come through as humans. All of us have come through this karma that we've played out up until 2020, where we've been playing out karma, and all the karma has been coming up to be shed, to be looked at, to be healed. And so we are been in this time of these last 2 years to really go in, down and under, and to clear and heal. And so we've been through so much as humanity. Wars are always going on the planet. People want to stay stuck in the karma. They don't even know they're in karma. They're just fighting human dynamic issues when it's just actually karma, and you can be up out of that. You don't, like, you can just put yourself out of that and take this other view and just be like, I don't need to do that. I don't need to be in that. That's not even truth. That's just people fighting with the supposition in their head, and like believing in imaginations, and not the good kind of imagination, but their imaginings and just their stories, and fighting about it, and like literally dropping bombs about it. So it's like, believe in the abundance. Aries believes in the miracles. Aries helps the underdog. Aries gets back up when it gets knocked down. It may feel vulnerable inside. That's okay. Emotions are just a vibration in your body. I did a great episode about that on Tuesday. So look at the Light Goddess podcast, where I do daily episodes, and I did a great emotions episode. There's so many. If you go back through, there's over 354 episodes or 56 episodes. So go and use that resource that's free. It's not a subscription. So I do daily podcast episodes, so it could easily be a subscription that's $20 a month, but it's not a subscription. So go take up that amazing that resource that you have, because Taurus is about the resources that you have, and people overlook the resources that are all around them because the ego says it has to look like this, that it's the way that the culture sold you on the life. The cars, the gold, the fancy, the bags, the labels, and all of that. And it's not that it's wrong, it's that realize that that's not life. That's just like it. You might like some things, but that's not actually what life's about. That's not the meaning of life. And that's what the culture sold people. And so, and the Western disease virus is infecting other countries that are actually, were very connected to themselves and spirit and source and the real life. So it's kind of an infection, this Western materialism that's not real life, and it keeps you stuck in karma. And so it's two disparate things at once, that you might want the car or the cool thing, but not being attached to it meaning something about you and who you are and your value and your worth. You're not valuable because you have a Porsche. You might actually be the biggest douchebag. So, it's like, you might not be doing anything to contribute to humanity. You might not be doing any inner work whatsoever, but you got a Porsche. Like, like who are the people? Like you can want a Porsche and be doing amazing work for yourself and humanity, and healing your own karma and healing your ancestral line. Wolf spirit, turn knowledge into wisdom. Also be aware that when you have things that you haven't had in a while, that you can be ravenous about it and really make poor decisions. And with Mercury really slowing down and barely and just not moving much this week, moving I think like 4 degrees this week, and going retrograde next week, it's a time to not make rash decisions. Like Mercury retrograde isn't about not doing things. It's just silly. But it's about needing to think it through and double check and triple check, because the mind isn't functioning the same way. And it's a very internal time. We have dove spirit to be at peace. And doves are just like, they're funny, and they're versatile, and they can fit into many situations. It's also the symbol of the goddess. And to like, what brings you peace? Are you finding the inner stillness and peacefulness within your days, within your weeks? Are you doing that for yourself? I'm gonna pull a goddess card. because that meditation time, that stillness and rest time where it's not constantly stimulation coming in, the phone scrolling, social media, something like, do you get time of stillness where you're just with yourself and you? And a lot can be coming up with Uranus and with this Pluto aspect. So it's like a lot can be coming up from the depths, but it's coming up to clear, to purge, to release. Shit comes up to heal. Shit comes up to purge, to release. That's the only reason it comes up. It doesn't come up to make your life miserable. It comes up because you have an opportunity to release that shit. And we are in this time where we actually get to move into being a light goddess, helping humanity, doing big things, changing the world, doing something that really matters. Maputla, whatever. Anyways, she who guides, new path, guide, renewal. So it's like this, the light goddess. I mean, it's really very much that vibe of the light goddess. You know, you are the guide for your audience, for your people, and realize your place where you stand as that guide. That there's somebody that decides what all are the magazines that are going to go into the grocery store. When you're sitting there and it's like, who decides like this cover is the important one this month? It seems like there's a reason why like that's important, and that's how society kind of spells us into thinking of like focusing on what they think's important. But it's like you start deciding what's important in your business and what's important to be focused on, and guide people up out of the shadow and the darkness and out of the fear. New path, renewal. So how can you really step into the light goddess that you are, into the powerful woman? How can you step into the next level of empowerment? You might feel empowered, but there's another level. And with this Uranus energy, that's what's wanting to come up. Audace, like audacious, audace, whatever. She who resists, fearless, justified, resistant. She has like a bloody knife in her hand. So you could take this a lot of ways, but metaphorically, you know, the blood of the menstrual cycle, of this time of visioning, and justified to stand in your power, justified to take your place as a woman in this world. Realize that since women has been suppressed for 5,000 years, we've had 5,000 years of half the population's wisdom missing, and the other part of the population has too much testosterone and goes to war. So it's not to put men down, it's just that men left to their own devices go to war and battle. And that's how, you know, it's like, it's very clear. It's women who are the hinge pin to humanity rising out of this darkness, rising out of this fear, rising out of being mind-centric instead of heart-centric, that mind dominance of the ego and the unhealthy ego. And so it's like she who resists that bullshit, resists her own mind telling her that she's not good enough to be this powerful voice in the world when we need you. You women are the hinge pin to stand in your higher visibility, fearless, and be fearless. What will it take for you to be fearless and bold? Really ponder that. It's a powerful day. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll talk to you on the next Alchemical Goddess Daily Astrology Intuitive.